Welcome to episode 1 of the Pen and Paper series on storytelling. So you want to be a writer. Where do you start? How do you take those fascinating pictures and characters in your mind and translate them to the page? Masters of any skill started somewhere, and for you this may be the beginning of that story. There are a few facets to consider before diving into such an industry. After all, to be a writer of any form means that you are entering a business, and this business is merciless. I'd be doing us both a disservice if I didn't include a prior warning concerning the world you're about to enter. So, here is a list of 19 things all writers should know before they begin. It's work. The old adage says it takes an individual 10,000 hours to master a skill, landing roughly between 6 and 10 years' time. This will involve self-reflection, research, experimentation, and, yes, sitting down and actually writing. The benefit to this is that if you love writing, it shouldn't come as a chore to be completed, but a goal to be achieved. You need to follow through and learn discipline. Some stories may take longer to develop than others. Either you may not be mature enough in your abilities, or the story isn't strong enough to be told yet. But once you have the story, it is on you to bring it to life. Don't deprive the world of this creation barred to your imagination. Sit down, learn how to tell your story, write, and most importantly, finish it. The world doesn't care about your story. You have to convince them. Doing this involves a number of unpredictable steps. You need to know how to write. You need to create a strong hook or opening that grabs people's attentions. You need to promote yourself. But above all, you need to prove that you care about your audience. If you want readers, the story can't be all about you. You will make mistakes. They say writers need to get comfortable with failure, and it holds true. You will fail in writing good stories. You will fail in competitions. You will fail in publications and sales. The trick is to not allow these failures to turn into defeats. Don't give up your day job. It should be noted that starving artists is not just a cliched mantra. You will have to pay the bills in other ways while you pursue your dreams. Getting an agent, finding a publisher, and selling a story are not easy, and even acquiring all three, it's not guaranteed success. Know what you're hoping to achieve. Whether you're driven by merit, financial success, accolades, revenge, or simply out of self-fulfillment, keeping a perspective of your goals will be strong motivation in times of uncertainty. You will inevitably become more critical of other stories. The more you learn what makes a good story, the more you will identify flaws in others' work. You will not be able to switch off your critical mind when reading a book, watching a movie, or binging a show. You've been warned. You will not become the next Stephen King, or Billy Wilder, or Quentin Tarantino, or J.K. Rowling, or J.R.R. Tolkien. The sooner you realize this, the sooner you will discover what makes you unique as a writer. The world doesn't need another Stephen King. It needs you. Your first draft will be terrible. You just won't know it right away. Years from now, you will dust off that first manuscript and cringe at the idea that you could be responsible for such loathsome, steaming piles of garbage. And this is part of the process. Your story will never be perfect. Don't waste time scrutinizing every word and line you put on the page. Get the draft done, then edit with a fine-tooth comb. You have to let others read your work. This bit may be hard for beginners, as our stories are not an island. They're a part of us. That is our souls on the page. Opening ourselves up makes us vulnerable to criticism, and that is something you have to accept if you want to be a writer. Literacy is not for the thin-skinned. Next point, and this is a hard one for some, you have to read. Whether you're an author or a screenwriter, it is pivotal that you read actual books, not just screenplays. Fiction, nonfiction, how-to, biographies, anything and everything is going to make you a better writer. There's no getting around this point. A great book to start you out in learning the fundamentals of writing is Anatomy of Story from John Truby. The industry is always changing. Whether you're going into film or theater or literature, business models and customs are constantly being updated in an ever-changing culture. Industry norms also differ between countries, so if you have your sights set outside of your homeland, this is an area you will need to research. Selling your story doesn't make you a writer. Writing makes you a writer. Period. Having said that, writing is not just about writing. It's also editing, marketing, publishing, branding, and a variety of other costly variables you haven't yet considered. Thus, why I'm taking the time to create content on each subject. You will not be an overnight Cinderella story. Successful writers that seemingly became household names overnight had to train and work and grind for years, with their efforts eventually paying off all at once. If you're fortunate and talented enough, your efforts could pay off too. This next point is mostly for freelance screenwriters and authors attached to publication. You are bound to your employer, so you have to write what they want. No exceptions. Self-made writers will have a harder time to succeed, but they at least get to decide what they write. Writing is very rewarding. You haven't won an award or made a single penny, but once you write that final word on your manuscript, you will be overwhelmed with a sense of pride and accomplishment. Don't undervalue this. You achieved something great. And finally, don't ever stop improving. I've seen it too often for writers to learn a little about storytelling, then believe they are literary gods. If you stop learning, your work will plateau, as will your career. You can always be better. And there you have it. 19 things to know before becoming a writer. If you feel I've missed any points, let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for new content each week. Now that this has been established, let's get to work.